we are back out at our property again today, so just gonna film another quick update. It's probably been about 2 weeks to a month since the last time I've been out here. We kind of got all the lumber over here in this area now, all the beams, kind of 2x4s, miscellaneous sized lumber, and that's kind of all barnwood in that area. 2 rakes are still sitting over here. I still have these for sale. The hay loader's gone, so we went ahead and cut the wheels off of that, and the rest of it went to scrap. By we, I mean Michael. Some of you may know him from my other channel as the steam shovel guy. So he came out, brought his cutting torches and helped me cut those off, as well as the corn binder. I'll show you that over there. But this whole area where the granary was sitting, Dad came, scooped up all the nails and everything since we burn it, and we kind of buried it in this trench here. So it's a little bit of a trench down this way too. Definitely don't want to be digging in there in the future. A lot of bricks, broken up pieces. We went ahead and threw those all in one pile as well. So yeah, right here used to be that trench that ran through here because the well used to be right here. We went ahead and kind of busted up that old well, tossed it in, covered that up as well. And over here used to be the chicken coop. So again, Dad went ahead, scooped up all the nails, tossed that in this pile over here, and kind of did the same thing for the rest of these buildings over here as well. Dug a few more holes and kind of just buried those. We did go ahead and try picking up as many nails with a magnet as possible, but there was just so many that it was just easier to kind of dig a hole and bury those, so that in the future no one is in here running those over and getting any flat tires. A couple more piles of bricks and rocks around here, but for the most part all these brick piles are actually full-size bricks, not busted up pieces. And here is a huge pile of cement and bricks. I'll get to that in a little while, but this is pretty much what I have left here on the property. Small pile of scrap that the scrap guy will come back and get when I tell him to. Have a fuel oil container, some kind of pen for animals, and the old car's still here. The guy did come and removed any of the chrome stuff that he did want on this. So I'm gonna leave it posted for sale for a little while longer. There's a few chrome pieces yet that there might be some people that are interested in them for, I know a lot of people are looking at it for rat rods. Couple usable pieces of glass. But yeah, this used to be where the corn binder used to sit. So again, Michael went ahead, cut off the wheels for me there with the oxyacetylene torch. A few of them we weren't able to get out, so we ended up just cutting it, leaving that metal in the tree. This was actually the wheel that used to be right in the middle of that corn binder. Probably see there's a couple gears left on it as well yet. And the manure spreader's gone. That used to be over that way as well. Michael ended up buying that and is going to turn it into a planter, plant some flowers in there, a little bit of a garden. Huge improvement right here where the barn used to stand as well. So again, scooped up all the nails that used to be in here, dumped it over there in the trench, and we did dump some over here and a little bit of a hole that was in this middle of this trees here. And then we pulled out all the concrete that was in here, the foundation as well as the cement pads, and all of that is sitting over here now. So when they go to build their house, hopefully we're able to get them to just haul this away, take it to Fisher Sand and Gravel down the road, and kind of get that off our property. There's a few pieces that we weren't able to get out of there. Those were really in those trees. This pile over here, we are going to probably burn next winter. It's getting a little bit large. The farmer has planted the corn. Starting to look a little bit more green out here, as you can tell. Sorry if it's getting a little bit more windier on the microphone as well. Pretty windy day out here. But yeah, that corn's up, been up for maybe a week or two. That's growing really good. And back here, we didn't have the farmer plant where we're looking at building the house. We weren't sure what we were gonna do. So we didn't want to have him plant and then rip up his crops when we went to build the house, if that's where we wanted to put it, or the pond. This area as well, cleared all the trees out of here. Dad ripped a lot of the stumps out, brought in a lot of fill, And yeah, this is going to be kind of a driveway coming off the road behind me, but I'd also like to build a shed kind of where the old barn used to stand. So it'd be a nice little circle driveway off the road over here to my left, coming around by the house, and then going, maybe doing a pull through on the pole barn. So out here, there was all those roots I call them. I don't know if people out there got another name for them, but when the ground gets worked up, there's a lot of high and low spots. So again, Dad, I keep saying Dad, but Jessica, my wife, keeps making fun of me. She says I should say my dad because you guys aren't sure who I'm referencing, but I just call him Dad. Was a huge help this last weekend. We cultivated and leveled off this whole area in the back here. There's no big roots and troughs in here anymore. Kind of see where the farmers stopped right here planting. So we got all this pretty leveled off in case we don't go ahead and let him farm any of this anymore this year or next year in the coming years. If we go ahead and plant trees or whatever back here, or if we just let it go to weeds, it will be relatively flat ground. That stake is hopefully going to be where we plant our grass. So from there over to that stake out there and then over there. So pretty big yard. And we're looking at putting the pond back here in this corner. You can maybe just make out the stakes for where that pond is going to be way over there. That is where the most sand is on the property. And these stakes right here, we kind of just put in today. This is kind of going to be the driveway as well. Kind of make a nice curved bend here with gravel. That's going to go right by the house. So we'll have the garage here. I'm not going to go over the house details in too much detail yet. Again, this is more so just for my information and kind of documenting the progress that we've been on, more so than people want to watch it and they're interested. More power to you. But this orange stake here to there to that one will be the concrete approach that is in front of our side loaded garage. So we're kind of just marking out where 15 foot would be for the gravel driveway to come around here. Real nice bend off of this road and go down there. And the reason we're kind of doing this is we're going to use the existing driveway off this road to kind of bring in the cement trucks, any of the heavy equipment, so that they don't tear up our nice new driveway. And the excavating company actually said that, you know, it'd save us a little bit money. He won't have to put as much gravel on the new driveway as if we go ahead and use the existing one over here for that heavy equipment. But again, house is going to be right here. Hopefully put the septic up here in the front. And this will be the gravel driveway. I'd like to have concrete because I really don't like raking stones out of the grass, but we did it our whole life when we were young with my mom and dad. So if we got to rake them for a couple years before we save up enough money to either pave this with asphalt or put a little bit of concrete here. This is going to be the new driveway though. So it's going to come off of this road over here. There's a low spot right here in the middle. A lot of fill, a lot of sand from the pond is going to need to go in here. All these stumps that are right here in this area that I cleared will need to be pulled out, and I'll show you where those are going to go in a little while. But there was a couple trees here that I wasn't really sure if they were going to make it. They are though. We got a nice oak tree here, a nice big maple in the center, and another huge oak tree over there on that side. This is the tree right here that I wasn't sure if it was going to make it. Kind of looks a little sickly, but it is another nice large oak tree. Hopefully with a little bit of pruning later on in the year. I can't prune it right now. Oak wilt is between, I think they said until like July 15th. So I'm not going to go ahead and cut any branches until we are past the time frame that oak wilt will be an issue, but then I'm going to go ahead and cut off a lot of this deadfall that is on this tree. But another nice oak tree. Right here's the low area. I have a few stepping, not stones, they're actually stepping wood pieces. A couple piles where I'd burnt earlier in the year. Looks like we got a little bit of poison ivy growing in here, so I'll have to watch where I'm stepping. But right over in here is where all those stumps are going to go from this driveway behind me. goes a bullfrog. It's kind of a little bit of a pond, looks like they used to have here, but it's more so looking like a frog pond now, so it'll be a good use to just kind of dump those stumps in here and cover this up. I'm sure this is a huge mosquito breeding ground as well. So that's kind of the plans with getting rid of all the stumps here in the driveway and also getting rid of that area at the same time. So I think that's all pretty much that I wanted to share with you guys. You know, that's kind of how things are going along. Hopefully we will be signing the contract next week, hopefully in 2 weeks at the very latest with our builder. And I'll be able to share some more information with you on that. Maybe go over a little bit of what we decide to do for the house plan. And then it sounds like maybe a month, 2 months at the latest before they're in here, able to break ground, dig out the foundation for where we're going to be putting the house, and then start digging on the pond and bring some of that fill over here in the driveway. So that's kind of one of the last options that we discussed as well, is the driveway won't need to go in right away if we continue using the existing driveway to bring in the cement trucks to finish pouring our foundation and any of those big heavy trucks. So yeah, let's head on over now. I'm gonna toss the drone up in the air. I also took a little bit of drone video when Dad was out here cultivating, leveling off the ground here. It's kind of interesting to see. You could actually see right where he had worked up and where he hadn't yet. So I'll put that on here. And yeah, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Make sure you stick around. You know, this is just the start of a very long process for us, but this will be our forever built home. I'm going to jump into some of this drone video now. This is kind of our parking area behind where the old barn used to be. Field is over on the right-hand side that's planted. This is kind of the new driveway location through the trees here. You can kind of see where a few of those stumps are that we have now removed. And then back here in this location, kind of entering the center of the screen right now, will be where the house will be built. You can see a few locations there where there is sand at. That's where I was digging a few test holes, trying to find out where the most sand is in the property, and also seeing how much sand there would be where we're looking at building the house. Way off in the distance at the back of the field, you can see my dad on the tractor working up cultivating the field, and it's pretty easy to see the areas that have not been done yet. Going to drop down in altitude now, probably about 200-300 feet, coming down, and there's a lot of vegetation growth here. This was video that was filmed the prior week than when I was filming with my GoPro, and then I will actually film with the drone the same day that I was flying and filming with the GoPro, and you'll see the vast difference here. Definitely can see how bumpy it is as we get closer to the tractor. We're kind of working this up in a diagonal pattern so that we weren't crossing those roots directly perpendicular, so that those bumps were not as hard. But yeah, get up a little bit closer and kind of see the setup. Huge thanks to Dad for helping out with this. He likes being on camera too. You might notice him from my other duck hunting channel, my duck hunting videos. He comes out quite often with us duck hunting, so you'll be seeing a lot more of him. That corner stake right there is where we're planning on having the corner of the grass. Now I was just filming with the drone real quick. These orangish red flags are the edge of the side garage. So kind of just planning out where the driveway would come in this location and kind of doing a straight shot with the drone. Again, this was before any of this area here where the grasses was filled in, and a couple of these large stumps that we ripped out with the tractor later on in the day. Just a quick shot of the corn and how tall it's getting. Probably only a couple inches right now. We're having quite a dry season so far for the farmer, so hopefully we get some more rain soon so that this corn can start growing a little bit faster. And it's very easy to see where the farmer has stopped planting at, all the weeds over there in that location. Now I'm up here at the top ceiling that we're able to go to legally with the drone, and we can see Dad right there in the middle of the screen working up last little bit of path there in the center of the screen. And over here on this side of the ditch, we're maybe going to take some sand over there, so the farmer didn't plant that either. This is that oak tree that I've been watching, kind of see where it's missing a couple of leaves up on the top. So hopefully it hangs in there and starts growing a little bit better, and a few of these other large oak trees on the right hand side. We have a couple nice flowering trees in this area as well. Pretty sure they are cherry trees. This is the driveway location from the other road that I just kind of flying down, and then we'll come right up behind the tractor and take a look at the setup. But right here, a couple of these flags are actually where the house will be. So garage on this side, like I've said before, and I'll go over this plan later on and show you guys kind of what the house will look like. But right here is the setup. Like I said, we got the cultivator, drag tooth behind the tractor, a couple cement blocks on it to weigh it down so that it cuts through this dirt. Didn't have too bad of a problem. Most of this dirt is pretty sandy, clay mixture, and then dragging the chain behind it just to level it off a little bit further. And you can definitely see how these bumps are definitely giving my dad a little bit of a ride on this tractor. I'm going to gain altitude a little bit higher. This was just the first pass on the field that we did in this diagonal pattern. Then the next day we went back at a different diagonal and gave it one more pass, and now things are actually pretty level. A couple more rainstorms, and I think things will be really leveled off. We'll do a final grade on the location up by our house where we're planning on putting the grass, maybe rototill it, and before we go ahead and plant it. Maybe we'll be planting this next springtime. Everything's kind of up in the air on when we start building and how long a timeline that is. Can make out a couple more of the test holes that I dug here where that sand is piled at. This was filmed the same day that I was here filming with the GoPro. This was filmed on May 29th. You can kind of see the pile of concrete over there in the center of the screen and the area location where the barn used to stand, how that's all cleared up. No more concrete or ash from the location we were burning in. Couple big ash trees here that are dead. There's actually quite a few dead trees on the property still standing. I wasn't worried about cutting those down now. Pretty much cleared up all the deadfall that was on the ground, and we'll get those later on. This is flying up our driveway that will be soon installed. A couple of those stumps that need to be removed out, but usually fly up here just to kind of get a feel for where the driveway will be. A little bit of an angle, and the house over here on the left-hand side, and a couple of those stakes over there on the right-hand side that'll actually fly around now with the drone and kind of show and get a feel for how the driveway will slope around in a nice curved fashion here on the corner of our garage. And then that will go ahead, exit out this side, and go to the other main road on this side of the property. Did have to cut a couple more of these branches up near the top, and Dad was able to level off a little bit more of that dirt and rip those stumps out like I said previously. But yeah, now this area here where the trees are is cleared to 15 feet tall, which should be tall enough for the cement trucks to come in through here. A couple low spots right here where the back of the barn used to sit though. Might need a load of gravel and clay in there, sand in there to bring that up so it's not too low when those cement trucks don't sink in that location. But this is where the barn used to stand. A couple tracks back and forth that we did run the magnet after we scooped all the ashes out of there just to make sure that there were no more nails. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Also make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next videos I will be posting, and leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below.